Hello and welcome to the Heads Up podcast here on DxT TV. I am your host, DxT Turbo. Joining me as always, we do have the lovely DxT Nevo, aka Alex Boniface, and DxT Ferret, aka Gaz. Guys, how are you all doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. How's everybody?
I'm good. I love how the fact that you used Alex's full name and I just you had Gaz.
Well, there's two Alexes, isn't it? If I say Alex, they might think it's Lexi. You never know. So you got to say Alex Boniface.
Nah, they'd never think it would be Lexi.
Could you imagine?
Ever been on the
You're
podcast?
alright, how you doing? I'm doing the podcast today.
I'm alright, but Danny's being a prick. Danny's been a prick all day, so now I'm in a shit mood. We didn't get me a Mackey's.
He's fucking punched me. Mate, I had that argument the other day, funny enough, not gonna lie. If I like that argument the other day. Wasn't even funny.
Just want a cheeseburger so I can have one bite and give it to Danny anyway.
Yeah, that's all she does. Yep, basically right. Basically right.
That is legit, that is it.
That is legit. Wild Game, welcome to the stream, and so is Izzy as well as here as well. Welcome guys and gals. So, there's a couple of topics I think you guys wanted to bring up before we start. Well, before we start. For the podcast even, not before we start.
Well, it's so.
One second, guys. I know you're probably still sitting there listening. Hi, Ashley. How you doing, pal? Just kicked me out of the stream very quickly. I'm not sure what is going on. Do believe I'm back now, though, but don't know what it is. Every now and then, my connection just seems to sneeze, and it just yeah, I'm not too sure why. There we go.
Way!
Every time, man. Every time. I think it
Final
seems to sneeze.
letdown. Diddle-doo-doo.
I don't even know what it is. I even checked on the log that time as well, Alex. It says stream was disconnected, attempted to reconnect, and that was it. That's all it said.
Sometimes you just need to sometimes you just need to close it down and restart your computer.
Yeah.
Not now though. We've got a thing to do.
No, not now. So, there you go.
Do it afterwards.
So yes, as you were saying, obviously you want to talk about what happened in Baku. We've obviously got Britain. No, not Britain. France this weekend.
France. Yeah, we've got France. Talk about Baku. Speak about France. And then we've got some question time. And then
Euros first. Euros before question time.
Euros. That's everything.
Yeah,
Euros,
Euros.
and then question time, and then whatever else maybe people would want us to talk about.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Got
get
a few people in the chat.
just
Hello,
gonna get out of the
Ashley.
way before
Hello,
Izzy.
Hello, William.
Before Izzy starts moaning, we'll get out of the way. We'll do the Euros. Okay, so tomorrow, England versus Scotland. We're going to talk about the first game. Start with right, Speedy. How you doing, mate? Are you talking about the first game with England? The England first game.
Shall we just quickly summarise it to kind of get off the Euros? We can do brief things of like the first England game, what we think is going to happen against Scotland, and like what team we think is the best so far,
Yeah.
and shit like that.
So go on. So you crack on with the first game.
Okay, so first game, I generally thought we should have won by more. Croatia were absolutely shocking. Never seen them so bad. They looks like they're just an aging team. Glad we got the win. Deserved the win. And that's just not me being biased, being English. Like I generally thought Croatia were absolutely awful. They did like nothing all game. Really.
No, Modric held the team together, but there's only so much you can do.
If he wasn't there, mate, oh my gosh, it would have been awful. They'd done nothing to do on the ball.
Declan Rice had him in his pocket though.
Oh yeah, and
I didn't
Calvin
rate him
Phillips. Wow,
Yeah, he did. Really
He's
well.
just stepped up. Like
he was ridiculously good.
Those you got to figure like everybody questioned the fact that there was no official left back. Trippier was playing left back.
Yeah.
You had Sterling being first choice. You had Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips being picked above others. You're sitting there, people's like going, why would you do this?
Yeah.
Like you
I
got
thought Grealish
like Luke Shaw. Yeah, well, Grealish should have been honestly. I sat there, felt Grealish should have been picked over Sterling any day. I thought that Luke Shaw is on a hot streak at the moment, so he should have been picked over Trippier and left back. But it worked. Yeah. Although we should have scored more. It was a boring game, really, for what it should have been. Because the last time these two teams were faced together, it was energetic. But then again, it was really hot.
Yeah, it was.
Bacon
hot. So yeah, so fingers crossed tomorrow. Should see the same thing. Scotland had a bit of a mare the other day.
Couldn't hit anything, could they?
No, and they got beat from the halfway line. Like that sums up Scotland's chances at the moment.
the highlight from the Scotland game is the aftermath, really, because my mum being full Scottish and her husband being a Welsh, Indian Isle Welsh, he is. So he's Welsh, but he says he's not. He was laughing in her face, so she smacked him one. That was the highlight.
I will say as well, big shock during, I don't know if anyone guys was watching the Denmark game. I think we all was. I think we was talking about it quite a lot. Thank God Eriksen's okay. A big Spurs fan, people will know. He played for us for many, many years. And to see, I've seen now 2 players fall to the ground now in this situation. And for those who don't know as well, one of my mates from school, not long after the Mwamba incident happened, he was on trial for Tunbridge Angels. He collapsed, I think he was about 19, 20, and he died, unfortunately. Like, he had the same sort of thing, just collapsed on the pitch and died, Junior Dean. So, it's been a bit of a shock seeing it like happen live, and no credit whatsoever given to the Euros broadcasting team. I think they were disgusting what they were trying to do. Keep zooming in on this guy that's basically on the floor.
Oh yeah.
It's the broadcasting on the whole front. It doesn't matter obviously it's the BBC used UEFA coverage, but there was nothing stopping them from flipping over to studio.
Yeah, of course there wasn't. Yeah, it was disgusting.
You had like Ian Wright, Alan Shearer, were all saying
Alex
on
well.
Twitter now.
Alex Morgan.
Alex Scott.
Alex
Scott.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like this is all over social media. They were tweeting about it. Switch to studio. Now I was sitting there with my son, watching it, and when he dropped, I covered his eyes and turned it over because I instantly knew what it was. But it's like I was like, it's not child friendly when you do that. And fair play to medical staff who were so good to do what they did to get there so quick, and the referee for recognising the danger and calling the medical team straight away out.
Yeah,
no, it was amazing to see. And so
you had the captain.
I was going to say, just the team surrounding him as well. The team surrounding Eriksen, so to try and keep the cameras off of him was really nice to see. Kerr, the captain, like consolidating his wife or his girlfriend.
He pulled his. He was the first one there, wasn't he? He pulled his tongue out, and that saved his life.
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous. Like back into the broadcasting, BBC are scumbags anyway. Like I actually despise the BBC in general. Not just for multiple reasons, not just that, but then just this as well. It doesn't even shock me that it happened because it's the BBC. They're by far the worst company in the world for broadcasting. It's absolutely
unless
shocking.
they want to give us a contract for commentating.
No, I would never work for the BBC.
Really?
It's a giant paedophile ring. Yeah, giant paedophile ring.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'd never ever work for the BBC, man. Nah, sack them off. But ITV, Channel 4, what are you saying? Sky Sports. Hello.
No, I was because it's quite close to me because I said because my friend died, and the way I found out was actually on the news, like sitting at home with my nan and granddad watching it on the news, and I was just like, oh, they're telling about this guy dying on the pitch. I was like, oh God, no, that's such a shame. And on his Twitter said his name was Junior D, and I was like, oh, okay, I knew a person called Junior. I don't know, I couldn't remember his second name for the life of me because it's back in school. Yeah. But then to show his picture and stuff to come up on there, it was a shock, and it hit me hard. It really hit me hard. So to see it happen, obviously I had some questions in my head thinking like, could he still be alive if they had the same sort of equipment that they have nowadays? Because you see, like now most clubs have this equipment. So it's, I don't know, it's a lot of questions, a lot of what ifs. But Junior, God rest you, mate. That's it. It's a big shame. I'm just glad we didn't lose someone else. I think it's a shame he's not going to play again, Eriksen. But yeah, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy what happened to him. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
It is awful, and even just in general, like at the moment, just in the heat, the amount of people I'm hearing about, just even like locally, that have been collapsing and stuff like that, and with the same sort of thing, and it is kind of down to the heat that we've had. Like, just if anyone who's watching is into anything, like you play football, you play any sort of sport, or you're into running or whatever, please just be super careful. Proper careful in the heat. Make sure you're. I mean, you can't stop it anyway. Like
you can't stop a heart attack. No.
You can't stop it, but just please make sure you're proper careful. And if it's too hot, maybe even just rain check it or something. Yeah. Like it's honestly.
Or just hydrate as much as you can. Just hydrate. If you have to do it, just hydrate. Just be really careful. Yeah. Today's temperatures have been stupidly hot. It's
Like,
been
I mean, down my end, today's been pretty bad. Like yesterday though, yesterday was brutal until it rained, and the day before was, or Tuesday was terrible as well.
Cool.
But yeah, like the amount of things I'm seeing pop up on like Facebook locally about like people having heart attacks and just collapsing, like just joggers or kids playing in the park and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, even here,
so
like
everyone stay safe.
we've had torrential rain, like all last night of torrential rain. Yeah, I still wake up sweating. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what the hell? Like it's
Yeah,
still
same.
been a boiling day, and it's been grey all day. Like miserable. It looks like a normal, typical British day. You know, like all cloudy or miserable. And I was still sweating. So I went out to shops today. I even put on shorts and stuff. And my missus was like, "Why you got shorts on? Look at the weather." I went, "It's still boiling. It's still really hot."
Same. I've got my shorts on, my short sleeve t-shirt on, and I've been motorboating a fan for like the last week. It's ridiculous. I hate this hot weather anyway. Not a fan of summer, roll on the winter, but it's just been disgusting. Like, and I don't even really like wearing shorts, but it was kind of like raining earlier on, and I still had my shorts on.
Quick comment actually to read out. So Thierry said everyone should learn CPR, but I'm going to actually
100%.
go back on that in a second. Ericsson will be able to play football again. That's fantastic. As long as he can play again and he's safe, that's fine. That's brilliant. He's having a device.
Yeah,
he's having
he's
Iron Man.
like a heart restarter.
He's Iron Man.
Well, yeah, he's having a device which will restart his heart. So, I mean, I guess they'll have to do more checks. But obviously, I mean, you got to think he's only 29. There's been no issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
But if he has like a, something that's gonna I guess a portable defibrillator in a sense, that's something that will do that, then that'd be really sick if he can play again and they can just monitor him. And then what you were going to say about Thierry?
Yeah, so
I
Thierry's
100%
comment, yeah.
agree, 100% agree.
So
that,
for those who
people
don't
should
know,
do that.
I'll just say for those who don't know CPR and this kind of stuff, the CPR these days isn't the generic one we see on TV. Like you put your mouth and you actually breathe into their body anymore. What the key thing they want people to do, so I've been learning the SIA, is just keep the rhythm going. So before it was pump, 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 breathe, and then you do the breathe. Don't you? Nowadays it's just the resuscitation, and to keep that steady rhythm. The way that I was taught it is just to sing in your head, sing the beat to staying alive. So the pump and the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
So like staying alive, ha ha ha. So it's that beat. Just keep that beat. That's all you got to do. Just constantly keep the beat. Ideally, if someone has collapsed near you and their hearts don't just go straight into it. Check that their heart has stopped. Check everything before you start fucking go pumping it, because you could end up doing them more damage. But if their heart has stopped, don't be afraid to break a rib. Like I said, don't be that. You really got to push down hard. And if you're hopefully get someone with you. Try and call someone over. If you're on your own, try and call someone over. And the idea is you just keep that beat going constantly. When you start getting tired, you swap. And then that you can have a rest. Someone else does it. If you're on your own, then just try and for as long as you like. Just keep going and just keep shouting for help. But yeah, honestly, that's it. Just listen to just think of the song, the Bee Gees Stand Alive, or any simple like kind of beat like that. Just steady beat. That's all you got to keep. But yeah, just please be careful. But make sure you're aware as well, because it can happen to anyone. It really can.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if it happens to footballers who are training every day, well, almost every day, and like some of the fittest people, even some like marathon runners and all that would argue, and it's still affecting them. Like it can happen to anyone.
But yeah, I didn't know actually it was something to do with I didn't know that the breathing bit. You know, you see it on TV and in like what's it called? It was like hospitals, like Colby City or Casualty. That they don't actually do like the breathing in them anymore to get the air into your lungs. It's more just constantly just keeping the heart going. So I
always thought the breathing side of it was more more useful if someone was drowning, and you use that to force them to kind of spit the water back out that's filled their lungs. I thought it was more useful for that. But I don't know. But
yeah, when I was first training in the SIA, it was everything. So it was literally like to do the with the mouth and stuff, and the breathing into them. But obviously with the COVID these days, and obviously the massive risk element to touching someone in the first place, you've literally just got to keep the beat. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So yeah, great to see Ericsson doing well. Let's hope he continues and has a great end to his career. So in terms of, I guess we should try and move off to Euros.
Yeah, Izzy, you can turn your mic back on. We're back.
Well, we're still. I guess we should finish off. So, I'm expecting England to beat Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it. I don't really care what the goal margin is. I want them to win. And the best team I think I have seen at the moment is Italy. They look.
Ooh. Belgium.
Belgium
for
look
me.
good. Belgium
No.
look good, but I thought Italy looked incredible.
I'm sorry, you can't say Belgium look good at the moment if they're getting beat by a weakened Denmark. Well, they got scored on by a weakened Denmark.
Yeah. Their defence ain't great, but that attacking force they've got is ridiculous. They're going to be a threat to anyone.
They've always got solid
Oh.
attackers, I swear.
Yeah.
All the time.
The Hazard twins,
They'll do-
and you've
they'll do
got what's the name, De Bruyne as well.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Is it coming home? Quick yes or no?
No, but I think we'll go far.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's not.
No.
But it's coming
It's
home.
not. It's not being pessimistic, and I feel like we could be in the final. I feel like we can go far. I just think. I mean, it's hard to say. There's teams at the moment which still haven't found their feet. So, you know, I feel like we can go far. It'd be lovely to get us into a final at least. It could come home, but I'm trying to be more of a realist.
Yeah.
It's possible because I think we have one of the most together squads, a decent bit of experience, bit of youth. I think we're kind of the next on the list to kind of start winning stuff behind some of the dominating teams that have won it in the last like 10, 20 years. I think our time's coming.
We have got the most expensive team as well.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Prem teams
Yeah,
are
well, we've
so
got
expensive anyway.
Yeah, we've
It's
just got a lot
overrated.
of. We've just got a lot of good players. But
Yeah, our valuation is over. It's 1.15 billion, which is twice Belgium.
Yeah, we said we knocked out in the semis. Probably right.
It's possible. I still think we'll get. I'm optimistic that we're going to go relatively far, even if it's to the semis. I'd like to get further, but I'm just not sure.
Well, we knocked up by Germany, weren't we?
Germany don't look well. They're not.
They don't look a threat, but they're still Germany.
It's when
It'll
you
be
get them into
penalties and we'll
knockouts.
fucking lose. Yeah.
Oh God help us. But yeah, mate, enough Euros talk. So we had the Baku last week. Was it Baku or the week after? Yeah, last week Baku. Seems like ages ago. Seems like ages ago Baku. All right, so
It wasn't last week. It was the week before.
I wasn't before. Yeah, I
technically
was
not
right.
last- yeah. Not the weekend just gone. Sorry, the weekend.
Yeah,
before.
week before. Yeah, so shockingly, again, Pirelli. Pirelli are at to their own tricks again. What's your opinions of these tyres? Like, personally, I am so against having a monopoly of Pirelli in that F1. But what do you guys think?
I agree with you that I don't like the Pirelli being the one who's going for got the monopoly over it. But I don't blame them for what's gone on. If you get me.
You don't blame them.
It happened. Not all the time though, because I don't think the tires were ever going to be brilliant anyway. These tires are made to fall apart at some point.
Oh yeah, 100%. But my gripe with them being is like the teams are all told a predictive life expectancy of the tyres. Yes, the teams normally really take the piss out of that, which we saw it in Silverstone a few years ago, where I think it's 2019 we saw that when all the tyres get blown up because they went over their prediction. But when the tyres are predicted to last from lap 2 to the finish on these hard tyres, and they're blown up after 30 laps, there's something wrong there. There is something wrong there.
They were predicted to last 40 laps, right?
Yeah.
That was meant to be. They should last 40 laps, but I think when they come into some of these things, I don't think they realise they don't always take the track into consideration enough. Like, you got to think Baku, proper long straight, disgusting amount of downforce on these cars now. It's not going to take much for a slightly worn tyre to buckle when the car's being compressed to the floor. I don't like the fact that it's just Pirelli. I'd like to see another tyre manufacturer or even two come into it and make teams pick.
Yeah,
I think Pirelli's. Yeah, like when it was Bridgestone and Michelin sort of thing, right? I'd like that sort of rivalry again. I don't think Pirelli's been brilliant, kind of getting the tyres correct. I would say most of the time. They've had a couple seasons where it's been alright. Other seasons they've had tyres which are just crap, or they just fall off a cliff and they're disgusting, or they've had like a couple of years back, like you said with Silverstone, where there were so many failures, it's unbelievable. So I think Pirelli is still struggling. I mean, I guess it's hard. I mean, and I'm not an expert on tyres or a tyre manufacturer, but they seem shocking, to be honest. I don't blame them quite for what happened, but I do think maybe they should start underestimating the tyre life to the teams rather than going, oh yeah, they lost 40 laps easy.
Yeah.
Tell them they're going to last 30, and because then it will make teams think about different strategies as well. Why try and hang it out and maybe even overestimate? Or because if you tell a team like, oh, these can probably last 40 laps, they're going to try and go 45. You know what I mean? They're always
They're going to try and go 50.
That's exactly. They're always going to try and go further. So if you tell a like, if they were told they're going to last 30 laps, those two things probably would not have happened, because they would have thought, okay, well, they may still have happened. They might still have pushed them, but you'd be like, oh,
yeah, but then it'd be their own fault, wouldn't it? It'd be their team's fault for pushing them.
Yeah, 100%. And well, actually, something like Easy said in the chat, like they went one step softer. It's like they keep like trying to change the compounds and going like taking softer ones and things like that. There should be just a standard soft, medium, and hard, no matter what, and they're exactly the same no matter where you go. And tracks will be changed, so the soft might not be soft enough for some tracks. Oh well, that's the soft you've got, but that it should just be the same. It shouldn't be a case of they've got like 6 different tyres and they go, there's like a really hard one, and then they can go, the hard for the next one will be like the medium from the race before, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just make it soft, medium, and hard. It is how it is. Deal with it, and I think that'll also make a difference to like things like that.
Because it's going to end it nasty as well. Go on, sorry guys.
The lucky how safe it was. Yeah.
See, under my understanding, they don't get told before a race how many laps they do. They get told the distance, the predicted distance of the tyre before the season starts. It is then worked out on the track distance as to how many laps it can do. Now, as you know, every track is different. Tyres will last longer at tracks such as Turkey, France, but they will degrade really quickly at tracks such as Monaco and Baku, just because they're street circuits. Mm-hmm. So it's like they get given a predicted distance of tyre life, but they really don't look into the tracks at all.
That's wrong in my eyes then, because they can,
it's wrong,
especially when these two tracks are street circuits. They can, like, say if obviously Monaco isn't exactly a track where you have a really high speed. I think you don't even get out of gear 8 in most of the corners of Monaco. But say if you're coming down the pit finish straight, your tyre goes, and you've seen tyres when they can send the car skyward. If that goes skyward into a fence, into the buildings, or even worse, you're going down Marina and you lose it there, and you go into the fucking sea, like into a yacht, you're gonna kill someone. You are gonna kill someone. And I think that's the thing that they don't think about. Like I said, if they are taking tracks into consideration, or they're just giving you a protected length of what the miles can do or whatever it is. But they need to take these two tracks into consideration, because they are heavily degrading tracks. So, like, I agree with what you're both saying, but I think you should mix what you're two saying as well. Like Alex said, underprotect the tyres, but maybe like what you said, Gaz, like they don't do enough track research. Maybe they should research it on the two tracks that they know are the worst degs for these tyres, so that way they can kind of get an idea of the worst case scenario of the tyres. Then if the teams push it, it's down to them.
Well, why should Pirelli do that?
Because it's their tyres. If they've got their logo on the side of a tyre, and people ain't into F1, are going to see two things. They're going to see a tyre exploding and a driver dying. They're going to link those two instantly. Like with us, we'll know. Like I said, like with you guys, you said, "Oh, it's not just that. It's this A, B, and C." So you kind of said, like, "It's not Pirelli's fault. It's this, and this, and this, and this." But the average Joe who doesn't watch F1 and just sees the news will just say Pirelli and driver died. Pirelli and driver died. And that's what they're going to link the two. So I think that's the kind of thing they've got to take into consideration. That's their responsibility.
Well, I completely get what you're saying. But personally, for me, I think Pirelli's done what they needed to do. Like saying, right, these tyres, standard degradation will last approximately this many kilometres. It is up to the teams have been racing these circuits for so long that they can turn around and say, right, this is degradation level 2. So that means the chances are the tyres are going to wear this much quicker. It should be it's part of the team research to work out how long those tyres are doing it, so they can work the strategy. If Pirelli does all that research for them, then the drivers are going to come in at exactly the same time and not going to do their own research.
See,
I do agree. Like I said, it's like I mentioned, like I don't really think it's Pirelli's fault. I do think they could maybe change it a little bit with the advice they're giving, but the teams need to also stop just taking the piss. And here's an idea. I don't know what you think of this. What if certain tracks had a pit stop, like a certain amount of pit stops you had to do? So like on the more abrasive ones, it'd be like, right, you need to pit 3 times on this circuit. That is non-negotiable. Every driver from your team needs to pit 3 times. Just more for safety reasons, and it forces them into thinking about different strategy, and they have to pit 3 times, or for some circuits, or it could be, yeah, okay, this circuit, you're fine, you can pit once maybe or twice, like, but force them into it, so the teams can't really do that.
Or maybe just do like Thierry said, the mandatory 2-stop rather than a 1-stop. So you've got to change tyres. You've got to pit. No matter what you do, you can put soft, but you've got to change tyres twice. Maybe that's an option.
Yeah, but that's what that's kind of what I was saying.
But
just give them an amount that you have to do.
But that there then automatically brings like, okay, no matter what, every circuit can be done.
Okay, maybe not then soft. Maybe not soft. Maybe like you've got to do a soft hard transition. So you have to go from soft tyres to the hard tyres, or vice versa. So you've got to change compound, but you've also got to stop twice.
I think they should keep it where you have to use the different compounds, but make it so they have to stop more times. If two is enough, then fine. But on some circuits, maybe with higher deg, maybe the 3-stop might be safer. However they would work it out, sort of thing. But yeah, make it you have to run different compounds, but you have to stop it like minimum of 2 times. Just that's period. And some tracks you might be like, actually, you know what, this one's quite high deg. Like look at Baku for example. Maybe if you go, okay, I tell you what, we're not going to stop once, or whatever. We're gonna for Baku it's 3 stops, sort of thing. Like whatever, but you have to do different compounds.
I get the idea, right? Where you get like, especially when you got circuits such as Baku, where you go, right, actually, this is no longer a 1-stop race. This is a 2-stop race, mandatory. That there I can agree with. If you get me, like you got circuits such as Austria, leave it to 1.
Yeah.
But there is circuits such as Monaco and Baku, make it a 2-stop.
Yeah, I think a 2-stop would be fine. I think that'd be good. As Thierry just said, also get rid of the Q2 rule. I wouldn't get rid of the Q2 rule, but what I would do if you was to qualify. I was thinking that maybe if you was to qualify on a certain compound, then you get a fresh set of that compound for the race. So that way everyone's kind of on a level playing field straight off the bat, if that makes sense. So,
but then the whole Q2 rule is out there to make you think, right, conserving your tyres. You go out there, do your best lap you can on your first attempt, because otherwise you'll sit out there on the same set of medium tyres until you're going to get it right, like after the fifth or fourth time. I do like the Q2 rule. I think it makes it fair. It gives those people who are sitting at 11th, 12th, 13th a chance to break into the points early. It gives the midfield pack a battle. The front, not so much, but that it does force the midfield pack to have a battle.
What if? I mean, I quite like the Q2 rule because qualifying used to be proper boring. Like, I like it, but what if you had to make it so you say if you got all the way to Q3? I mean, it would give them a slight disadvantage, but say like if you go into Q3, you give them a certain amount of tyres, sort of like they have a certain amount of tyres, right? But you're never going to have a new set. If you get to Q3, which will be the quicker drivers, you end up like you have to use every set of your tyres that are available to you. So they'll all be scrubbed, so you have no new tyres for the race. Then if you start from 11th to 15th or 17th, whatever it is, you'll have like one set, and then if you don't even get out of Q3, you'll end up having 2 sets of fresh tyres, which would help them out for the race. It would bring the top people closer together because they wouldn't have that extra freshness of tyres. I wouldn't know how. I probably explained it really shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think the
I
idea
in
of
my head.
the Q2 rule was to kind of make it an exciting Q3, to make it like these cars have got these fresh softs, they can go as fast as they like, and then got to worry about saving them. So I think that was like another idea for them. So I don't know if it would work in that sense, but I see what you're getting at. I do see what you're getting at.
It's more so if they have to use all their new sets of tyres in qualifying, especially to get through to Q3, they're going to have to use them. They're going to have to do well, and then if they mess up their times, they haven't got any other new sets maybe to fall back on. Like, so they're going to have to go again, and they're going to have even more worn tyres. But they're going to have to try hard to get through, sort of thing. Or it could have the adverse effect, and people would be like, "Oh, you know what? We won't." You're not going to want to not be like high up.
Yeah, I think there'll be teams like that. Maybe like George Russell, who scrapes into. Well, it's not George Russell. That's a very bad example. Maybe like AlphaTauri scraping into Q3, and their drivers won't come out because they will just have. There was like, oh well.
That's what I'm saying though. But you make them do it. If you're into Q3, you have to use them.
Oh, you have to use them.
Like you have to use them. Like however far you get, if you get into Q3, you have to use those. You have to use your tyres. You can't sit there and not go. You have to go out there. And if you've got, you get like that one set or whatever. And if you want to go out and better it, or maybe you wouldn't want to. That wouldn't work so much because you'd go out and you wouldn't be as quick. Obviously, you couldn't really better your time on soft tyres sort of thing. But you have to use all your tyres. So if you're in Q3, when it comes to the race, you have no fresh sets.
I still think it'd be a great shout.
Tyres, but still goes quick.
To have an extra manufacturer of tyres as well, though. So they've got
to.
It will force Pirelli to like stop being lazy and to improve their tyres. Like, see, I know
it's competition.
Yeah, like we've got about what was it episode 2 or 3 at Formula X series where these cars go fast as they can. It's that kind of thing. Like if Pirelli have got this monopoly that they've got for the last 5-6 years plus, and their tyres ain't going to get any better. They're not going to be any worse. They're going to be a standard kind of set, and they're going to try and improve it to make adjustments and stuff. But if they had a competition like Michelin, like Bridgestone or Goodyear in that mix as well, and they're going to get then beaten, not only, like I said, it'll kind of like the constructors thing, it'll come down to like, oh, Mercedes have got the best engine, but Goodyear might have the better tyres. So it could mean that Goodyear, who are, say, on the Red Bull's car, are better than the Pirellis that are on the Mercedes car. So
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
I think
definitely good.
It gives them more that like it's not just then about just the driver then, is it really? Because like the whole thing about F1 right now is it feels like they're pushing it so the cars are being very, very similar to each other, and there's going to be less variation. We're adding adding the other tire companies in means that there is going to be that chance of a difference really, where like as long as it's not Bridgestone. Because I think they've screwed up too many times. I don't think they deserve a shot right away.
I see.
They need to prove
But
themselves.
they've got loads of tyres. There's loads of tyre makers. Is that Tokoa or something?
There's Tokyo tyres. There's Yokohama tyres. Yeah, you got
Toyo.
Goodyear.
Toyo, Michelin, Goodyear.
Yeah, I mean 100%. I'd like to see another tyre manufacturer because then, like you said, Homo, Pirelli would then have to try harder.
Yeah.
Like they'd have to really switch up the game. When there's just one thing, like one manufacturer of something, you just do it. Like Pirelli just make the tyres, like, and they have no competition. They don't have to care really how good in a sense they are because everyone's on the same tyre, which is fair to have a kind of control tyre, but in this sense, I think they're already changing it so much. They need to add a different element to change the racing.
Yeah, I said it also could come down to the fact, like, say, Pirelli might have the best medium compound tyre, Goodyear might have the best soft compound, and Michelin might have the best hard. But, crucially, Toyota tyres might have the best inters. So, like, it could really, come into effect. So, you can't just pick, I'll have that Michelin and that. You have to pick a brand for that race. So
100%, yeah.
Yeah, so...
No, it should be you pick a brand for the season.
For the season?
So,
that's a good shout.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it
exactly.
used
Yeah,
to
for the
be, right,
season. Yeah, for the season. Yeah, okay, for the season. So that
you
way,
pick it, and if they're shit, you're fucked, basically.
yeah, they've
If
got to
they're
really
good,
like
then great.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
Because I mean, but then I also think they should open up more testing. To be honest, I feel like they've cut the testing back so much, right? And then they're like, you see a little glimpse. Oh, they're testing a new Pirelli tyres for next year. Oh, great! What round? Like what 2 days around Spain? Whoop-de-doo. And like 3 or 4 teams get to do it. Like nah, like bring back the more testing. Let every team test them. Do more tracks. Like I don't know why teams spend so much on simulators now because they have less testing time available actually on track. Whereas if you just gave them more track time, they wouldn't need. I mean, obviously you still have the good simulators that would make a difference, but they wouldn't need as much simulation time because they'd be actually able to go out on track and practice. So I think that's another thing to do. 100%, we need to see another tyre manufacturer. It will make it a lot better.
Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting as well. Instead, yeah, more testing would be a nice thing to do. Because I said, it's just they don't test enough. I don't think, and it's come down to that danger fact as well. Like they could go wrong quite easily. I said a simulator's fine if you want to know how to control the car, but yeah, to actually know your car's going to be safe, you need to do more testing and stuff as well.
Even if it was like a week or two, where you get 2 weeks, is alright. Here's 2 weeks, like whatever track is available, sort of thing. So you could do 2 days around Spain, then you could fly over to Azerbaijan, do like a day or two at Baku. You know what I mean? And just test your car in different tracks. It would also help with development of cars and things like that. And they can test the tyres more and everything. I think it would be a lot better than, oh, here we go. We got a weekend round at Spain now. Oh, now we've got another weekend round Spain. Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously now we've got France this week. Thoughts on France, first of all. I think, I've got thoughts on France. Let's go with you guys first before I make a comment on France.
I don't like the track because they've done too much with it. There's too many different layouts. I don't think it really ever makes a good race. So yeah, about the track, don't really like it. In terms of who I think is going to do well, I've heard Hamilton and Bottas are switching chassis. Mercedes, they think they found some more time apparently, so maybe they'll do better. I mean, what they need is a completely different strategy team, really. But
what they need is a complete different second driver.
Well, yes, no. Like I'm not a Bottas fan, right? He's an okay driver. He's not brilliant, but he's okay. He's like, I don't know. Like at Williams, he was overperforming the car because he's kind of like a mid-team driver and he'd do well there. But he's not a top-team driver. But the problem with him so far is he's also not playing the team game anymore. I've also heard or read, this is probably complete bullcrap anyway, but they are talking about switching Bottas and Russell throughout this season. And it'll kind of be a case of, right, Bottas ain't playing the team game. Russell, you're going to be in this car, but you have to play the team game for Lewis to get this. Because obviously they've got a lot more competition now. Red Bull probably actually do have the fastest car, and Bottas isn't even playing a team game, even when they need him to. Like Bottas is nowhere in the championship. He's not going to win it. He's not a championship level driver, unfortunately. I generally don't think. So I have heard that they're thinking about switching him even through the season. I don't think they'll do it, but it's just another rumour that I've read.
Maybe a threat to Bottas.
Well,
Gaz,
yeah, it will be. They could. But
what do you think of the track, Gaz?
I hate France. It's a car park, isn't it? Really, that's the way I see it. I'm not too fussed about the layouts because the number of layouts does not affect the race itself because they're sticking to the same layout. It's just the fact that you look at it from a helicopter view and it gives you a headache with all those lines. I honestly think it's almost as bad as Euro Cali taking over Haas. Did you get me? In the reason why that track is on the calendar, because it's it's owned by Bernie Ecclestone's ex-wife.
Didn't know that.
So it's because she owns it. She's still in a good rapport with Ecclestone. She's managed to get herself in there and get that hair track on the grid, on the calendar. And I think it's just one of those races that Mercedes will dominate at it because they have done it over the years. Be a bit tighter this year, but it should be a Mercedes race. But it's just a horrible track. It's two lines with some squiggly bits at either end. That's it.
See, I'm in the same boat as you guys. I hate the track. I said I've never liked the track. But the only thing I'll disagree with you on is the number of layouts. The reason being is because modern tracks these days have to survive in some form. So the fact it's got 180 or 168 layouts, whatever it's got.
167.
67, okay, one out. That ain't bad for me. But because it's got 167 layouts, like, it needs to have that in order to be a functional all year round track. It can cater to go-karts, to motocross, to MotoGP, to F1, to GT racing. Like, it can cater to everything. But the problem I've got with it is that when it does come to F1 racing, there is not enough what's the kind of word I'm looking for? Gravel traps. So, like, there's not enough margin for error. A car can spin off and go about a fucking mile and yet just rejoin the track because there's no, like, oh no, it's stuck in the gravel. I think that's the bit that needs to add into the track. On the parts where, there's literally no way of, like, on the corners where there's no way to actually put another corner there or to edit that track. If they stick a gravel trap there, or they stick something there to just give the drivers something to think about, that they can't just shoot over and just bounce over the curb and carry on going straight. Like, they need to put a gravel trap there. Like, for example, the one I'm thinking of most of all is the long DRS straight. When you get to the first chicane, you've got the track goes either straight or it goes left like the F1 cars go. But there's an island there. Gravel it. Gravel the fuck out of it. Gravel the fuck out of everything to the left-hand side as well, because there's nothing there other than trees. Gravel it. So that way, if a car makes a mistake, it goes into the gravel. Even as you go round as well, you get around to that long right-hander, and you've got the islands there. Again, there's no track there. Gravel the fucking thing. So if the car spins out and they go over there, one, they're gonna be stopped safely because there's gravel and it will slow them down. But also, if they go off, make a mistake, they can't just simply rejoin the track and carry on racing. They're out. Fuck it, they're out. But that's my personal thing. I don't know what you guys agree with me or not, but I just think they could gravel the fuck out of that track. Just put it everywhere. They don't have a layout.
Well, yeah, I mean, they should definitely have the gravel traps, but that's I don't have a problem with tracks having other layouts, but you don't need 167.
It is a lot.
You don't need that. It's way too many. It's probably 160 too many. Like, that's how it's just so out. But I think because they've got so many layouts, that's why it is like it is. Whereas if they cut down the layouts, they could they need the gravel traps to make it more interesting, because it's kind of nice. Like, the thing, there's a lot of space on that track anyway. I like tracks which have a lot of space. That's fine. But when you know that if you go off or you spin off, you get sent to Africa and then you just drive back on. Like, yeah. That's the crap thing about it. I reckon if they cut down the layouts, just don't need 167. Cut down the layouts, you can still cater for everything, but then you can add the gravel traps and things like that for safety and just for a different actual dimension to the track. People know at this certain corners, I can't actually mess up here or I'm in the gravel.
I like the with 167. Like, I've not actually seen the layouts. I know they talk about, oh yeah, it can do it. I've never actually seen each individual layout, if that makes sense. But it's a nice idea to think that, say, if like a go-kart tournament can happen just in one fucking place. That in itself to me is quite amazing. Like, you can bring a go-kart series. Like, there could be a French series for go-kart racing that could just be played or raced at this one track, and then each week they just change the layout. They just put cones out, say that there's a new layout off the track, and I think that's amazing. I think that is really clever, because obviously they can do like even a whole week thing. Say it was like obviously during the summer holidays and stuff, like when these kids they could do like a go-kart series or something, whatever they're doing. But they could have a different track every week, because it's so easy, or every day, because it's so easy to set up. You just put the little cones out. But yeah, but even like I said, there is some dead zones in that track where you just throw gravel. Just throw gravel. It's not going to affect any of the 167 variations, but gravel it. That was my opinion. Sorry, guys, you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's like I understand what you said about the number of variations, but it is the way it lays out. It's like they've got they've got 5 different ways of coming out of the start-finish straight. So I understand that you don't need that many, really.
But track
so
didn't make money at the same sense.
But it's like it's the idea is basically to go, right, you can cut this corner out or you can cut that corner, so you can cut the chicane out, and that gives you like so many variations because you've got that multiplied by the different types of starts, if you get me. So I understand why they've got why the number's gone up that much, but they don't use 167. I've seen the layouts that they've got available. If you go on there, you can go onto their the website for Paul Ricard, and you can actually see all 167 different variations, and every variation is just a modification.
Oh,
it's just that little. It's just a modification. So they got like miss off the chicane. There's one. Cutting out turn 11. There's another. So that's, if you look at those, that's just by having those 2. That's 4 already before you've gone into cutting out turn 13. And there you go. There's 8 combinations.
Yeah.
And that's just 3 corner changes. So it's once you start having those little corners, cutting out 1 and 2, and just go straight through. It's unbelievable how it accumulates. So the number doesn't bother me, but it's you're never going to see these people missing these corners out. They don't. It's the GP circuit is the circuit they use most of the time, and it would be nice for them to see them use all these 167 for different events.
Yeah, it would be.
But
I thought that's what it's there for. At the end of the day, like I said, I get
it's there for
that makes
options,
more sense. Makes more sense.
But like it would, they should instead of doing a double header at Austria, they should
double
have done
France.
a double header at France, and show like basically go like, right, what we'll do is that we'll cut out this corner and we'll add this variation in. So then instead of cars coming down going through turn 1 this way, we go through turn 1 here instead. It's a bit sharper. It's like so they use It's like we've got to use variation 8, for instance, and this is it will change the race. It will change the race up.
They could have done. They could have been there 3 times.
Corners.
They could have been there 4 times over because of all these variations and stuff. They could have done a whole fucking season there.
Calendar.
Yeah, this is the French calendar. Fuck it. Like that's my point about the go-kart racing. Like I said you could just have a whole fucking series there because you've got all these variations of track. But I said, I just think they're missing a trick. I think they are being a bit silly. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind Austria the track, but you don't need to race there fucking twice. It is the most deadish track. It is. You might as well do Hungary twice. That's my thoughts of it. It's just fucking awful.
Oh my god.
It's just the worst track.
Hungary twice.
Like, there's no challenge to Austria at all. There's no. I get in the COVID, in the COVID season, yeah, you had to do sit somewhere. And Austria at that time had a really low COVID risk. But now we've got everything's opened up a little bit better. Just do somewhere else. Like, why has it got to be Austria twice? Why couldn't they have gone to a different part of the different part of the world even? Like, he hasn't got to be there. Like, I don't know. I say even like I'm trying to think of another place that's not in Asia they could have hosted it. That would have been a brilliant race. Fiji, for fucking sake. Go back to Fiji. Do it around Fiji. America got fucking about 6 different tracks they could have probably used in America. They could have done so much. Oh, they could have used Watkins Glen. That's one off the top of my head. They can't use that anymore.
No, it doesn't meet the regulations. It's that far down on the regulations now. It won't
that's a
meet.
shame. That's like, what about Long Beach?
No, doesn't meet.
Oh, damn it. I like my 2 favourite tracks.
Yeah, those, both of them do not meet the FIA certification. Watkins Glen has gone down to category 3, so they actually can't host any open cockpit driving apart from Indy is the only exception because it's got history, but they still don't use it for Indy.
That's a shame. But my point is that there are other tracks other than Austria, like other places in the world you can go to that's safe other than Austria, or double, like I said, or double up a track that can be changed, like France, for example,
or one that's going to actually give you an interesting race.
Or even,
like Baku.
Or even if they, or Baku, yeah, or even if they do repeat Austria, race it in the reverse. Do something different.
They can't do it in reverse.
No, but I mean, like, not like any track though. Like, if there's a track that's actually reversible, safely doing reversible,
Yeah.
then do that. Then why have you got to go to the same place and do the exact same thing you did exactly last week? Why has it got to be that? Like, or fuck it, go to what's his place? Not Baku, Abu Dhabi. Go to Abu Dhabi, have them turn on the sprinklers for one race. So you've got a complete wet race. Or Bahrain, that's got that sprinkler system. Go to Bahrain, race that twice, and do a complete wet race in Bahrain. That'll be fucking interesting to see. And Abu Dhabi. But yeah,
Well, see, if Bahrain does, if they do a wet race at Bahrain, you won't have the dust effect.
yeah, you won't. You won't at all. But they can do, like, for example, a completely wet a wet race at night for Baku, which will completely be something different. And then the next week they can do an earlier start where it's a sunrise, a normal noon sunrise race, however they want to do it, but it's Baku again and it's dry. Like, that'll be interesting. But why I don't agree with doing the same track twice. I just really don't. I think it's just stupid. It is really stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I'd happily see Canada twice.
Oh, I love Canada.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Canada's
Like,
good. Canada's an exception.
I think a lot of it is just like, I mean, I don't mind Bahrain. Obviously, they change a layout there. Austria, no one really likes the track anyway, so no one wants to see it twice. Canada, I would happily see twice. Tracks like Turkey, I would see twice. Like, there's certain tracks which I'd happily just watch twice. And
What I would want to
I
see,
don't like seeing once.
what I would want to see is tracks going with the Singapore effect and doing a night race. So like tracks like Canada, where it's basically, it's like, is it a street circuit, Canada? It's a proper circuit, isn't it?
It's technically classed as a street circuit because
But it's permanent, isn't it? It's a permanent.
Well, it's a permanent.
Yeah.
It's a bit like it's similar. It falls in the same category as Australia. So it's
Yeah.
open to the public when it's not race season.
So why don't they own that track? Just put the Singapore lights, that effect on that, around that, so you can have a nighttime Australian race or a nighttime Canada race. Obviously, with tracks like Britain, it's very difficult because it's very open. You can't just stick poles everywhere. But on Canada and stuff, on these like street-ish kind of circuits, like also as well, trying to think of another one, Russia, or Monaco, have night races around these kind of tracks. Because they're street circuits.
One race in Monaco.
No,
Don't even try and say there's.
It just come into my head. They just come out because it's a street circuit.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, around Spa, you can't do it because obviously it's too wide. You can't put lights that are going to cover that. But like these street circuits, you can do it, and I think that would be another aspect for them. Do it completely. Obviously, it will cost millions to do this. It will cost absolute millions to put all these lights up like Singapore. But could you imagine watching an Australian night race or an Australian or a nighttime Canada race? I think that would be amazing, personally.
I'd like to see nighttime Canada. That would be cool. Canada's a lovely track.
Can they do a reverse of Australia?
They were talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not quite safe because where turn 12 is. Imagine going backwards at turn 12. You're facing that wall.
Yeah, it's also turn 1 as well because there's a wall right there as well, isn't there? If you turn it around, the first turn 1 would be a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
It'd be the same as Canada, actually. Canada, but that'd be fun though. Like, imagine doing Canada in reverse, going around the Wall of Champions in reverse.
See, the thing is that if you think about Canada in reverse, I can't. Apart from what is now turn 3 and 4, that's the only place, and that can be adjusted to give you the
that'd be
run-off.
amazing. That'd be amazing, to be honest, because that would be obviously with the start finish straight, you don't have to start it. You do a complete flip, like so you don't have to start where the first doesn't start where 20th starts, for example. You can move it down a bit, so there's a little run up to the Wall of Champions chicane, and then it's that long straight at the end. And it's very similar to Baku in that sense because you've got a straight, straight off the bat, and then you've got a chicane, then a straight. And I think it'd be insane. And you've got a hairpin straight after that, and then you've got all the twisty bits, and then you could do that. Let's say that turn 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 even because it's got. But like you said, it could be adjusted. They can just do a straight line around 3 and 4, so it's really quick. I think it'd be amazing to do that. That'd be insane. Well, anyway, enough talking about F1 like real life. We have obviously news with the.
Yeah, we need to talk about the new Discord server for the new IER, which
Yeah.
it's going to be called.
So obviously the TNE unfortunately is essentially over. We're not going to go into details regarding that at all, but if you're in the know, you know why. So a bit of change of ownership as well, which was going to happen anyway. Well, I will enforce that. The change of ownership was happening anyway. So Thierry and AD have taken over the servers. DxT, you'd be glad to know, are still in partnership with the new league. The new league is going to be called IER for the time being, International Esports Racing, which I think is going to stick, but I think they're still toying with some different ideas of names and stuff. But obviously they can change the sponsors as well, so it could be like, for example, like the Tea Time Friday League, it could be the TTFL at some point, or you know what I mean. So sponsorship could happily change that. But so there's the new server starting up. It's going to be a new, slightly different setup. If you guys are used to see or do join us for the TTFL in our Discord, you'll kind of see some similarities with the two servers. But there's going to be some key changes, I think, to that to make it a bit more IER rather than TTFL. It doesn't want to be a complete mirror image of each other. But so the old TNE server will be completely closed. So during this season, we've got 2 races left. Everyone's going to be slowly getting transferred over to the new server, and basically it's going to be a fresh start, carrying on the same kind of same league anyway. The league's not going to change in that sense, but it's obviously the new ownership, new influences, new heads of admins. But yeah, it's your same old great race that we're used to seeing. You're looking forward to the new season, guys?
Yeah, it should be good. Obviously with the new ownership, there's fresh ideas coming into it, so you'll see, in terms of the racing and stuff, it'll obviously be the same, but there'll be certain changes and things like that. Hopefully to fill up the grids to make the racing just better and more competitive, and things like that, and maybe even new things coming into play, which might be good. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly is going to happen, but it will be the league that you know and love, with a new fresh lemon twist on the name.
That's how I put it.
Yeah, and I do like the whole new damage thing with the new game. So it means that we're going to have a very good aspect of cars slowing down if they get a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, you've got floor damage as well. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah,
with the new game.
But just a couple of quick notes about the TTFL.
Yeah.
The Clean Drive Award, which is going to be awarded in 3 weeks' time. Well, there has been a name.
Ooh.
Right, and it's not the name I actually said to you the other week. I had a quick change of heart. I was thinking the Ken Miles, because Ken Miles was an amazing driver, but he didn't race F1.
Yeah.
So I've gone with the Sterling Moss.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Clean driver. So I've gone with that. The whole fact of the only reason why Sterling Moss is not a world champion is because he basically he pled to the stewards to take a penalty off someone.
Yeah.
Who then won the world championship. So I think that's deservedly of getting noticed.
The other name I was thinking of was Jackie Stewart.
See, the thing is though, it's Jackie Stewart is one of those ones, like, he wasn't actually a clean driver.
Oh, was he not? James Hunt then, fuck it.
No. Yeah, just give it to James Hunt.
Yeah. No, I like Sterling Moss.
I like Sterling Moss. You can call it the Mossy. Well, I've won a Mossy.
And it's like, yeah, who do you think you are? Sterling Moss.
Yes, yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing that. Obviously, I've got no idea who's in this or what's going on with it. So looking forward. But as we are talking about votes and stuff, guys, we have got 6 people in the chat, or listening. Don't forget, Thierry will be doing at some point. Thierry will be doing a Commentator of the Year award again. So don't forget to hit up your boys DxT, going for a second win in a row. Fingers crossed. DxT Commentators of the Year. You know, we need some space in our trophy cabinets.
Yeah, we need a slightly different award because obviously I haven't been able to commentate as much as I would have liked to. So I think there should be a trio award.
No, I think it should just be like a team, innit? So as a team, we've commentated on every single thing. Let's be honest. So it should just be
Well-
a DxT award because it's either been a combination of me and Gaz, Gaz and Nevo, me on my own, Gaz on his own. So yeah, I think it should be a DxT award.
See, as part of DxT, we can actually in terms say we have covered everything. We've covered every single race the TNE did offer. Like I covered assist tier 3, then tier 2, then tier 1. I covered no assist tier 1 and no assist tier 2.
Yeah.
So like I've done a lot.
Yeah, we've commentated on regionals Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
I did the F2 the other week.
Yeah. Oh, you did the F2 exactly. So there, we've literally covered everything. So there should be one choice, really, guys. You know, come on, hit us up.
Yeah, me.
Us.
I'm joking.
There's no I in DxT, guys.
Oh.
I actually have to think about it. Is there an I in Dexterous? There's not an I in Dexterous. Alright,
With your spelling, there probably is.
probably is lying me. Do you know what? Do you know what, right? Most makes me laugh. I get Dexterous come up. Like we come up with this name. Well, I come up with this name like years and years ago. Why didn't I pick a fucking easy name to spell? Like, it took me so long to spell Dexterous. Like it's actually quite hard to spell.
But
You know,
if you pick something you could easily spell, then it wouldn't sound as good as it does.
I know Dexterous. That's that. I said when I googled because my dream was back in the day when we had Daxter Sports Racing. I liked the fact there was a D and an X and a T, and but also we don't use the DxT there. We used it was DSR or DSG was the official company name when we actually made the liveries and stuff. Alex, wasn't it? DSG. But I liked the fact it was a D. It was a D, and not because it's my name.
D, don't you, mate? You love a D.
I love a bit of D. But there was something about the D that really took to me. Like so when we come up with like there was options for like Demon Sports Racing or Dragon Sport or all that. Nothing really sounded good. It sounded a bit corny, some of it. So when I was looking and I found and obviously back then our emblem used to be a wizard. So when I looked at things like associated to wizards, one of them was dexterity. I was like, oh, okay, that's quite a cool word. It means you quick with your hands and stuff. That kind of relates to gaming. And then I said there was, yeah, exactly. So not bad. So dexterous was also on there. Again, it's the same sort of meaning, but different spelling. It's the same, I can't remember the actual official meaning of dexterous, but it's the same sort of thing. It's you're good with your hands. And then when we got the ninja logo, we got now the famous ninja logo. It worked even better because ninjas are good with their hands. So it kind of all fitted. So they're dexterous. Obviously, then it was a kind of a strange choice to pick DxT from dexterous because obviously you would assume it would be a D and something S, or even like go DES, like Daxter Esports or DSR, whatever it's going to be.
You could have had DTS.
DTS, yeah, DTS was the other one, but I love the X because the X is quite a prominent part of dexterous. You kind of like take a breath to say dexterous. So I thought Dexter, DxT. I thought, do you know what, that kind of fits, and it also looks fucking sick when people type it up. When you've got like the lowercase x in the middle of the DT. I thought it just looked good. I've had no complaints so far, so probably the best thing I've done at DxT. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it, Alex? DxT.
Yeah, DxT is nice. It's like you have a little kiss in the middle.
Yeah, little kiss. But yeah,
CG's down to the T.
Literally. On to other gaming news. I don't know if you have I've spoken to Alex about this pre-podcast. Gaz wasn't in the room. He was waiting for him to join up because he's late bastard as always. But I've recently...
I'm never late.
I've recently got into... I think I spoke about this a little while ago. Roleplay. Not in that sense before you say anything. But GTA roleplay. I don't know if you guys in the chat have ever heard of a thing called No Pixel. But it's something that I've got myself into the last couple of days, and it's essentially a GTA server that's it's a GTA roleplay server. So you have to apply for this No Pixel thing. You have to make an account, make a character, and do an application. So like you have to ask all these questions about different scenarios. And the idea is you're a character in the world of GTA, or the world of Los Santos, I should say. And you kind of got to role play yourself as that character, stick to your character traits, stuff that you made for yourself, and follow a unique arc, from arc unique arc, and play GTA like a real person. So you got actual life and death threats. So like in GTA Online servers, you can't just jump on a fucking flying bike with a fucking obliviator or whatever they're called and just blow shit up. You can't just do like a random stunt jump because there's risk of getting killed. If someone pulls out a gun on you, you got to put your hands up in the air and you got to like be actually scared. Like it's actually insane the amount of stuff this goes into. So if you're free on Twitch at any point, guys, if you're listening, do check it out. It's my Twitch is the same as my gamer tag, DxT Hobo, DxT_Hobo. Look it up on Twitch. But I plan to do it every single night. But do you know what? It sounds amazing. I think Alex, you wanted to have a look at it as well, didn't you? Get into it.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice little different take on. Obviously, the problem with GTA, it's been out for so long now. Everything that I liked about it is boring. So I think it'll be a very nice different take on it, and it would actually be quite fun if I can drum up like an alter ego that's good enough to get in there. I'll definitely give it a go.
Yeah, definitely. Because we've all played GTA, haven't we? Like GTA, it's been out for so long. Like there's only so many times you can do the same old heist and the same old order and the same old setups and blah blah blah.
I'll tell you, the thing that ruined this GTA for me is like when it came out, I loved the story and I liked the fact that we could go online. But then they didn't release the heist for like what, a year or something afterwards, and that was the thing that I was like, oh my god, this will be sick, and we were all absolutely buzzing for it. And then we got it, we do it, and then we're like, we can't do them yet, And then they came out, and it's like, oh awesome, and it was like, we've done them. And then they didn't release any more for like another 2 years or something, and it's just like, oh, I'm done.
See, and that's the beauty of
I
No
can't
Pixel.
Get back into it now. It's hard.
Like with No Pixel, obviously, I don't know too much about it. Like I said, and my character doesn't know too much. He's been in there a day. My character plays a hobo, as he would, you know. But like when it comes down, if you don't know No Pixel, I said every person you meet in the game is a real person acting out a particular role. So there's actual police officers that are real people that act like real people, not just like computerized. There's no computerized police. There's actual doctors and nurses and taxi drivers and people that work in Burger Shop, for example, the restaurants and stuff, and the Red Rooster, and you can do the same sort of things you can do on GTA, but you're interacting with a real person, with real people. So like if you do a bank heist, you've actually got to outsmart real people, which is I think is amazing. I think that's the kind of thing GTA needed, a bit of cleverness. Like yeah, the GTA heists were decent, you know, like when we first did them, but there's only 4 when you first. I mean, we did them how many times? And you just kind of picked up little things. Like, oh yeah, if you go this way, you go around this alleyway, they don't find you. But if you're against a real person, you can't just keep doing the same shit over and over again because they'll just pick you up on it and they'll just go, okay, well, last time these guys tried to rob somewhere, they did this. Let's try this. So I think it'd be just genius. And you can do like jewelry heists. You can go rob a jewelry store. You can go rob actual like normal convenience stores and stuff. Get hostages that are real people. There's actual music artists in the world of No Pixel as well, like with unique music that are completely roleplay based, which is insane. And some of the music is fucking insane as well. Some of it is ridiculous. Like it's crazy. But the whole thing that you can actually go and eat. You can be a different person. You can be fat. You can be skinny. I think that's a funny thing as well. I mean, you can actually be a proper fat bloke and run around like a fat bloke. I think that's brilliant. But yeah,
it does sound cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
but
cool.
If you guys ever have a spare moment, you see me live on Twitch, just do check it out. Just make sure if you do go on there, just make sure we're not telling me what other people are doing on the server, because that's called metagaming. They come really down hard on that one. But guys, what would you think about that kind of thing? Would you interested in joining that kind of kind of game?
I would love that. I might have to invest in a PC to get involved in that.
It's really, I said. Do you know what? I've been watching it for a little while now, and I've tried other servers. I'm not just gone straight into the biggest one I can find, but I've tried Mafia City, which you have to be a gangster, which is what I read it as. And I thought I don't want to be a gangster. I want to be a normal person. I want to have a storyline. There was another one I did. I can't remember which one it was because it was just trash. I didn't bother remembering the name. But it was completely text-based. So, like, you're sitting there and all you can do is fucking type. So you couldn't have no dialogue with anyone really. There was no banter. There was no natural flow to a conversation because everyone's sitting there going, and you're waiting for like 10 minutes for a response while they're fucking typing. And then you're going, so yeah, it was dead. That was just dead in itself. So I didn't bother with that one. I then got into Frenzy RP, which was better in that sense, but it wasn't. It's very new. Frenzy come out in 19, and it's very, very new. So it's still picking by its feet and working out what it wants to be as an RP. But so it wasn't very user friendly. And then when I finally got into No Pixel, it's brilliant. It's really fun. Like I said, Alex, you asked about the cars earlier, so you can go to the actual car showroom, PDM, and you can buy a car there. You can even get a loan out for said car, either at the casino, or you can get a loan out from them, or even a loan shark or something, and you can borrow a car. Also, as I did, you can then take it to Benny's. When you take it to Benny's, you have to talk to a real person who's a mechanic to help you do that car up and make it like you want to do a race car. He want to, obviously, and then he'll do up the upgrades for you, but you need a real person to do that. You can then take it to Harmony, which, say if you're going to a race, you have a massive crash, your car. It doesn't just do damage to your external, like you would normally see, like cosmetic damage. You get engine damage and you get suspension damage and that kind of stuff. So you have to take it to a different garage to get that kind of thing fixed. And it's insane. The level of detail is insane. And the people on it are really friendly. Like I said, it's really nice because like I've met a couple of people already. Really, really friendly guys, all willing to help, all telling you. Like say if you get stuck with something, like obviously the game isn't perfect, it's on a server. So sometimes, for example, I was with a guy yesterday called Mike. He got himself stuck on one of the menus. So basically, when you're in a vehicle, you can press the F1 key, and you can then do things like open the bonnet, close the bonnet, turn the engine on, turn it off, change seats and that kind of stuff, or even like that gives the key to someone. There's other little things with the F1 muscle, they call it. So like when he was stuck, he went, "Oh God, I seem to. Oh damn it! I've super glued my hands to the wheel." And I went, "Wait, what?" He went, "Yeah, I was flexing my F1 muscle, and my hands are now stuck to the wheel." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And at the time we was doing sanitations. We was working as garbage men, and I had a bag of rubbish in my hands. So because he was in the driver's seat, and able to open the back up for me, he couldn't open the back up because he was stuck. He was frozen basically. And I had the bag of trash in my hand. I can't drop. So I was like, "Oh no, I've got super glue all over my hands." So we're trying to act out this thing, and we're trying to ask for help from each other. But the way they do it is really clever. Everyone's really helpful. They go, just flex your F1 muscle. I'll try thinking about this. So they're telling you how to kind of fix yourself without telling you. If that makes sense. And it's really clever. It is really good. So yeah, if you do have a chance to look, any of the No Pixel streamers are amazing. They are really in depth with it, and it's really fun to watch. But yeah, guys, I think you two should definitely do it. Guys, what kind of character would you want to be in Los Santos for like just for fun?
Yeah, I'd like to be like I was like someone like a car dealer or like someone working at Benny's. I would enjoy that I think the most.
That's pretty cool.
Because I do love cars, like so that would suit me down to the T. So yeah, or even a police officer just for the shits and giggles, just to see what it's like on the other side of the game.
Yeah, and you can get arrested as well. You can actually get properly arrested, put in jail. You can go to court as well if you want to go to court. When you get thrown in jail, there's some people in jail who actually play prisoners who are lifers, so they're in there for life. And there's a Morgan Freeman type character called Red, who sounds like Morgan Freeman, who looks like Morgan Freeman, and is fucking hilarious. Like, he's the funniest guy, one of the funniest guys on there. And so it's really clever, some of these guys, what they do. But one of my characters, actually, like this guys, was one of I tried to apply for was an ex-racing car driver called Nicky Graham, who basically was a young kid. His dad owned the team. He was only famous was only in the team because his dad owned the team. Did it sound familiar? And basically, everyone hated him for it. So basically, based on Lance Stroll. And when the teammate came in, they took the limelight off of him and started winning races. That he got jealous and then cut the brakes of the car and ended up killing the bloke. And then he ended up trying to run away to Los Santos. I tried that application, but I didn't want to be like a murderer going in there. So my second character is a character called or Dexter Graham. He used to be a high roller, casino nut. earned all his money at the age of 20 when his dad owned loads of businesses. He was a millionaire, owned everything you could think of. He had his hand in every pocket. He died at the age of 20 suddenly, so Dexter had to deal with that. And basically what happened to him after that was he started to do gambling. He was always into gambling, but he started to do more and more, and he had no risk. Went to a gambling match with someone he didn't know in a high roller stakes game with no limit. Lost everything, lost his businesses, lost everything. Turns out the guy actually rigged the game so he can lose. So then Deej was there, or Dexter was put on the streets, living homeless for 10 years, when a government project come along to give him a new house and some money to give him a second life. And now he doesn't want to go by his normal name of Dexter. Everyone calls him Deej. And he talks a bit like this, like my name's Deej. So when I gotta talk to everyone like this, I gotta be in this kind of voice. So it's very hard to do. But yeah, it's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. Go ahead, guys.
No.
I thought you were going up. You're taking a deep breath to say something. Hi, Ralkia. Welcome to the stream, pal. So, Neva, you had a chance to think about your character, who it would be?
See, I don't know what. I don't really like. Part of me would want to go in there, and my character would be like a proper arrogant prick who thinks he's a bollocks, but then also does that, but then gets other people in trouble by doing it. So he likes to see other people
suffer.
He lets see other people suffer for something that he's done to himself. Like, say if there's two people walking past a girl, and say this person's wearing like a white top, he'd be like, "Hey baby, you like my white top?" So then she turns to him and slaps him, sort of thing. Like, just constantly mess with other people. But then, like, at the same time, you'd be like a complete like pussy and stuff. Like, you'd always try and get people into trouble, but wouldn't be any good. But and something like that. Or you probably couldn't do this in the thing. I'd like to be a penguin keeper. And I'm a really quiet person. I sit there and I just, I fish and I feed penguins and I breed penguins, and but I'm subtly training them to be like killer penguins. So I'm really quiet. No one expects me. I'm always really, really, really nice. And then all of a sudden, I have this army of penguins. They'll slap you to death. The penguin keeper thing would be my favourite, but you couldn't unless they could go. Yeah, we can get some penguins. I'm like, sick, but that would never happen.
Kind of reminds me of Drunken Nights. That does.
Oh, that's funny. Joe, I think we got a name for this podcast already. The Penguin Army coming. The Penguin Army. No, but it's so fun. Like I said, there's so many characters I've not yet met yet, and everyone just seems really like friendly and stuff. So it's looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'll have to think about my my character a lot to try and get into there. I'll have to think of someone interesting and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because obviously they don't want everyone just to go in there to be like outright gangster. So like obviously there's...
I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah.
That's it. There's different arcs to what everyone's got. People there's jobs everywhere. That's it. Like taxi drivers, all that kind of stuff. But the idea is you just got to act out your character to his trait. So an arrogant prick who acts like he's got everything and hasn't, that could probably kind of work. That kind of thing. I don't know how many friends you'd have for very long, but there'll be people that would want to role play, and you give them content for being a dickhead.
Yeah. Well, that would literally be it. I'd just go in there and just be able to say whatever the hell I want and just be a complete dick about it all the time, and act like I've got everything when really I haven't got much, and maybe like suffer like mentally or something, like probably like a guy in turmoil, or hide by being a dick.
Yeah, that could literally work. I think that'd be quite a funny character to play as well. You practicing it through your whole life, Alex. I
know, right? See, in real life, I'm actually not even like that.
Actually, I thought it was based on the character on you, to be honest, Hobo. This sounds like Hobo.
This sounds familiar. Wait a second.
Hold on a goddamn minute.
Hold on a goddamn minute. Take the piss out of me. But yeah, that's what I was saying to Alex. I think that's the one mistake I've made is my voice choice. Is it? Because after a while, my voice started to hurt talking like this.
I'd rather do it in my own voice, just because I wouldn't. It would just be easier. But then I feel like there should be some sort of twist. But then I think I would slip out of it, like in and out of it, and forget sometimes.
That's the thing. That's why I've kind of gone into that, because I was thinking, because obviously my character's only 30. And he was originally going to be he was going to be English, But to go in there with my voice, I don't sound like a millionaire, or like someone that's had it all. And then when I thought I'm in about what voice, I was coming up with a couple in my head, and then I was kind of, so I was running around just thinking. I was in the game. I was trying to think of a voice to use. Then some bloke went to me oh, you're right there. Do you want to do this job with me? And I actually went. I was like, oh fuck, that's it. I'm fucked to this voice. I'm now fucking scruffy. My name's Dad. Yeah. I was like, yeah, don't mind me. And then my voice just stuck, and that was it. And it was just fucking hilarious. But it is the funniest thing to do. And it's easy to do, I think, with a voice, because you can kind of break into character and out of character quite easily. Whereas if you're using your normal voice, it's like, you can do it. I think other people can do it. Maybe just do a little twist of it. Maybe make your voice a bit more roadman or something. Yeah, bruv, you know what I'm saying, innit? You could just talk like normal, innit? And just add a bit more, couple of slang names, innit? That kind of shit. Or you can just talk like yourself. Yeah, I think it's easier to have something extra to your voice. But it's not about voices.
Could you be like a pervert and just be like, oh, hey, what you got hand under them jeans, big boy?
Well, you mean
you go around.
You just want to be Herbert the pervert from Family Guy, don't you?
I don't even like Family Guy, but that voice just stays with me all the time, man.
Alright. Well, wait. What's my one liner from him?
Hey, hi, Chris. You want me to come over and rub some lotion on those muscly young legs? Get your ass back here.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't know if I could do that voice for too long.
I know. The other one I would like to do is the Consuelo voice. They're like the maid.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, Mr. Superman no here. No.
But that'll be quite hard to do. All I can say is
No.
It's it wouldn't really work in an RP situation. You're hungry.
No.
No. But you look like you're starving to death. You're malnourished.
Yeah.
No food. No food.
No. Mr. Superman no here.
That's the only phrase I can do. But like I said, it's just funny. It's just so funny. The fact you can do whatever you want in this, as long as you're doing it normally. Don't be jumping in there and robbing a bank straight off the bat. Because obviously you need to learn. Your character's got to play dumb. So you might know things about the certain game, if I go to PDM I can get myself a car, but your character doesn't know that. So he's got to kind of find that out for himself. So it's quite hard. It's quite good to do. It's quite interesting to play. Alright, anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this thing up? Because it's getting, we've actually been streaming for quite a while.
I was waiting for Nevo's questions.
We got question time.
Nevo's question. Okay, here we go. Nevo's question time, a new segment to the Heads Up podcast for you guys.
I've come up with, I haven't just come up. I haven't just come up with all of them. I've been scouring the interwebs just for certain questions to mix up with something in there. So it's obviously a question for obviously both of you two, Hobo and Gaz, but then also anyone watching, feel free to answer and put it in the chat as well. I've got 12 questions. We'll see how we go, depending on how quickly we can decide to answer them. But the first one, we're going to start off. They're not in any particular order. The first one: if you were immortal for a day, what would you do? And by immortal, I mean literally nothing can happen to you for that day. You can't. You don't suffer pain if you go underwater or anything like that. You literally you're just solid. Nothing can happen at all. We'll go with Hobo. You first.
If I was I can't drown, no. I can basically come up
you're completely. Pretty much, yeah. You're immortal for a day, but and nothing can happen to you. Yeah, you can't die, but you literally nothing. You can breathe underwater. You could walk in lava, anything.
Do you know what I would want to do? And it's a bit strange. I would want to go and find. Do I get to pick the day, or is it just suddenly like now? Or is it if I have to travel somewhere? Does that count towards the time as well?
So you literally have 24 hours. You wake up one day. There's a note next to you. You're immortal for a day.
Okay, it's random day.
Crack on. Random day. You just wake up and you're just immortal for a day and you do whatever you want.
See, my ideal thing would be to go and try and find that missing Malaysian flight. They know roughly where it is, but they can't search the water, so throw me down there. I'll have a look. But obviously, if I've got a day, I've got a day. I don't know. That's quite a good question. I'm not too sure exactly. I don't know. That's really hard, you know. What about if you get stabbed? So that doesn't hurt you, or
nothing? You'd have a hole, but it would nothing. You wouldn't bleed, nothing like that. Yeah, you're literally just like you just nothing can happen to you. You're literally immortal. You're like a god for a day. You can't fly and shit unless you got a plane. Like you ain't got superpowers, but yeah, you just nothing can happen to you.
So what I would do, I would open up a YouTube channel. Now hear me out. I would then do like illusions that makes it look like I am cutting off my own hands and body parts and stuff, but I actually am doing it. So when
you're talking some dark web stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's on that dark web.
No, it's like they're illusionists, isn't it? Like it's all illusion.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So it looks like I've cut my hand off, and it's there, like that kind of shit. So I'll do
like
that.
a scuff movie sort of shit. Yeah, scuff movie sort of stuff.
So like that way, like
okay.
It looks a bit like, and I'll be famous for like being an illusionist, but then I'll be fucked because that's all I can be famous. That's all I can do for one day. That's it. I'm done.
That's it. You just need to hope you make enough money on that one day.
On that one day. It's quite hard actually. There's not many things I said I that death defying. I'd want to try it really, and obviously
it's because there's like time restraints. That's
the time restraints are hard as well.
Yeah, like even with my one. Yeah, like even with my one, I'm thinking, could I actually get to where I wanted to go in time and then do it? Probably not. But I mean, even if you switch to say, okay, you wake up at the destination, you're going to do this, for example, and then try or something. Maybe that would be a better way of doing it.
Could be that idea. What you guys?
I'd want to basically stand on top of like a really tall building, like so make people think I'm gonna do a suicide jump, then jump and just land on my feet and just watch people shit themselves.
Well, surely your legs still break, wouldn't they? Or would you just land?
You're immortal, aren't you? You just land.
Okay.
You just land.
In that case, I would go to the fucking that big building in Abu Dhabi. And jump off that. Or the shard. Fucking jump off the shard. Yeah, jump off the shard and then go, superhero landing, bang!
Exactly, that's exactly what I do.
That'd be... Can you imagine if someone walks underneath and you just fucking crush them to death? You just kill them.
I don't know, I'll just walk into the biggest heaviest area full of folks and just have a fight with someone. just to see how quickly they get bored of it me.
Oh, that'd be fun. Right, Alice, what about your one?
So I had quite a lot of like different ones for this. Some similar to what you guys have said, just do dumb shit and just watch people's faces be absolutely astounded. But the one I settled with was I'd want to explore the Marianas Trench. I think that's the correct word.
Oh, that'd be
like the deepest part, the deepest part of the ocean, and just see what's going and see if there's any further. Just spend a day exploring the darkest depths of the ocean, just to see what else might be out there.
But it might take you a couple of hours to get down there, so you have to add that into it.
Of course. Like, but I mean, I think if you're that far down and you could see that, and I try and take something, if there was anything that could withstand the pressure down there, to try and like record it or something, just to get.
I don't think there is.
Even if I died like a legend, you know what I mean? Just like, oh, he did this on his one day of immortality to better the just to see what was down there, really, because it's just one of those mysteries, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty cool. But then, obviously, you have to get the first thing. Like I say, if you look at it like you said, with time restraints, and obviously you're gonna have contact restraints. So you're gonna have to find someone first of all that can get you out to the Mariana Trench, and then the money behind it. As well,
I'd probably try and I mean that would be the thing. But if I could be dropped into the ocean above where it is and just swim down, that'd be sick. Or just I'd love to jump from a plane and just free fall, dive into it, pow.
Yes, if I had you had planning with it as well, then I would love to go. I would love to be flown out to to Mars, and I'll be the first person to make it to Mars. Well, Mars would take more than a day, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe even the moon. I'll be the first person to breathe without a suit on, outer space.
The thing is, though, technically, if you could plan it right and you wanted to go to Mars, you could do all the shit and maybe try and get as close to Mars in your suit and everything, and then for a day, just maybe in the orbit or whatever, and get down there and be on there, and then suit up and come back and hope you don't die in the meantime.
I'll take the moon. I'll just be like the first person to breathe without a suit on the first surface of the moon, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Have you seen the footage of the Americans doing that?
Oh, fuck off. It was
I'd
real.
also like to fight a gorilla and fight a grizzly bear.
Oh,
At the
mate.
same time.
Oh yeah, mate, I'm immortal. Fuck 'em, I'll take them both.
Yeah.
Fight Tyson.
I'll have one under one arm, one under the other.
The thing is, right, that fight will last more than 24 hours because you're not winning that. Let's be, they might get tired, and then like you'll just hear like you got like a Casio watch. It goes beep, 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 beep. Like oh fuck.
Oh, but then I'd make them fight each other.
They wouldn't.
Like,
They'd be
hey,
there
Grizzly,
against
the-
you.
No. Like, hey, Grizzly, the gorilla called your mama a dick, and he'd be like, oh my goodness, and they start slapping the shit out of each other, and I'd run away.
Oh god.
I wouldn't. I'd be dead. But still. Anyway,
What was the other question?
I like.
That was a good one.
Obviously, there's more. So William Hunter actually said go into a volcano, which actually was also one of my things. I was thinking that would be sick to just jump into a volcano, like more of like an active one with just some lava in it. Just jump into it and see what all the fuss is about.
That's what Will Hunter said.
Yeah. No, that's what. Yeah, William
that's
Hunter.
absolutely saying,
Yeah, that's a cool answer. So the next one is, if the internet wasn't invented, how different do you think we would be?
Oh, completely.
Well,
We wouldn't know each other first. Of all.
no, we wouldn't.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't know each other, and I think, like, even as a person, I'd be so different.
Yeah.
I'd be so different.
The thing is,
100%.
I don't think. Oh, I don't know because tech they're not internet based, are they? They're cellular, aren't they? Cell phones, tech messages and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So cell phones would still be a thing, text messages and would be, but you just wouldn't have the cancer that is fucking social media and.
I don't think
and
I'd
like
be...
just anything else. You wouldn't have online shopping. You wouldn't have online gaming. Everything would be offline. You still have consoles and stuff, but nothing online. No.
Well,
internet.
I would have definitely still been with Lexi because we met randomly over text. So like, but obviously, it made so much easier over the internet because obviously we could then Skype and video call that kind of shit. But
And don't forget, you'd have nothing to watch really. You'd have no
there'd be nothing
Netflix,
to
no Amazon Prime.
You'd
You'd
have
literally have the
channels
crap
1 to
that you
5.
get spewed out.
1 to
You'd have
5.
channels 1 to 5. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
with no
it's
internet,
not-
you wouldn't be able to.
It's
everything
not the
we had-
most
it's
ridiculous
weird.
concept in the world because it's weird to us because we've grown up in this digital age of technology, but our grandparents had to live through this, and they're still they survived it. Like if anything,
I think they're more interesting people because of it.
Yeah, because like, my grandparents are still together as well. Like after how many years of marriage, they sometimes they hate each other. Like
Yeah.
obviously with the a couple gets into an argument now. First of all, it's all over fucking Facebook in 5 minutes. Then you've got dickheads as well that just don't like to see happiness and will just constantly be trying to fuck things over anyway. But yeah, they didn't have that at all. Like, so I reckon they'd be better people for it personally. But in the same sense, I wouldn't want it because I wouldn't know you guys.
It's one of those things I think I would hate it, but I'd also like it. Like I'd hate it because of like how interested in gaming I am, like the people that I've met over like you Hobo, like you Gaz, like the people I've met and things like that. But also, I feel like it would be a nice thing to experience.
Are you talking about like as in like, it never happens or it just suddenly stopped? There are two different.
Well,
options.
It was never invented.
It was never invented, and you wouldn't know any different.
You
Well,
wouldn't know
no,
any difference.
you wouldn't know any different.
But like,
But I mean, if you think about it from now, sorry, guys.
yeah, so, like if you think about it, like the internet was made early 90s.
Yeah.
And not everybody had it until like it wasn't really a household thing until
No, it wasn't.
like 2000 really, and then that was dial-up when it was all squeaky and everything. Like you couldn't use your phone and the internet at the same time.
Yeah.
So like when I was younger, there was like I never bothered with the internet at all until I was 15, 16.
Yeah, I think I'm
So,
the same as you actually. I think I'm the same sort of boat.
I would have been probably. I probably would have made a better shot at playing football for a team instead of like sitting in my room just playing stupid games online or social media. But like, I think my time in the army would have been a lot harder
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to keep contact with people at home. I think I would have had a really tough time out there.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking. I remember the first time hearing about the internet. I remember, like, obviously, I was about must have been about 8, 9 when,
Yeah.
or 8 or 9 when
Yeah.
like computers started to sort of become a thing. Like, not even like a big, like, you know, like, oh, there, everyone's got one. It was like, they were like thousands of pounds to have a computer. And I remember, I think I must have been, maybe I was a bit older, maybe I was about, say, 11, 12, when I remember like first seeing like a computer in a cafe, for example. And I remember like asking Mum if I can have £1 to go and to go onto a new site called Google. And I was like, just to go on it. I did it. And Mum was like, no, don't be going on that crappy thing. Like, it was just so weird, like thinking about it back then. But obviously, my sister's not known a different life. She's known the life with technology and all that stuff. I have to a certain extent, because obviously I remember it from actually 10 years old. I had a Nokia 3310 that I used to bowl about with, and that was happy for me. But I would say in some way as well, like Halo kind of ruined my my school grades quite heavily. Because that's all I did when I get home was play Halo. That's all I did.
mine was WoW. Because I started off with RuneScape. That was like my first online thing, and I went to WoW, and then that was it. Life gone.
Because WoW games there'll be nothing to do. But the thing is, that said, because if it's a life where you didn't know it, then you would find something to do. You would go out and play outside. Like, I remember still playing outside as a kid, even with internet. I remember still playing outside and like still playing football all the time.
100%.
These days you don't get it that often. Everyone is playing online, and they don't get many kids just going around playing football anymore, or that kind of shit. Like, because if it's a life that you didn't know, then you wouldn't know any different. But if it suddenly just went, like internet just stopped, like in the South Park episode where the internet just stops.
Yeah.
Like that'll be a different experience. That'll be worse, I think. Was there any other questions you had, Alex?
Oh yeah, I've got plenty more. So this one's actually quite a quick one, probably. Would you rather flip a coin for 1 million? So obviously you flip it, you have to call it. If it lands on what you call, you get 1 million.
Yeah.
Or take 100 grand right now.
100 grand right now.
Okay, Gaz.
Wait, what was that again? Sorry.
Would you flip a coin for 1 million? So obviously, the coin's being flipped. You call it. It lands. If it lands on what you like heads, and you call heads, you get 1 million. If it lands on tails, you get nothing. Or take 100 grand right now.
You know, that's tough because obviously it's 50-50, isn't it? And you walk away on going there. You feel like you're going a bit greedy, but I'll take the 100 grand, you know, because I think 100 grand for me would do wonders for me and my son. So I think the 100 grand definitely.
Yeah, I don't think a million would do much either.
It's a risk, right? Like 100 grand is a life-changing amount of money. So I think, but I feel like there are people out there who would take that risk. But I would take the 100 grand because.
One second, you guys carry on. 1 second.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I saw this question somewhere, and I was just like, part of me would want to flip it and take the risk, but then I'm thinking that, like, being sensible, I take the 100 grand right now, sort everything out, you know. But it's a good chunk of change to have, and William agrees. Take right now. I think a lot of people would probably do that, but I definitely think there will be people out there that would be like, well, you know what, sack it, I risk it. But I also think that will come down to like how financially stable you are at that time. If you're right, if you're doing it right and you go, you know what, sack it, I'll take the risk. But with Hobo gone, we'll start another question because this one, this is actually probably my favourite question of the lot. What 3 famous dead people would you bring back to life and why?
Mate, that's a tough one.
See, this is the one I was telling you about. Like, my answer, one of my people changed quite a few times because I kept thinking of other people, and I was like, oh, it'd be him, and I was like, oh wait, no, it would be him. And I think I settled on my 3. I think I'm pretty sure I have. I feel like the more I think about other people, it might change, but I generally think I've got 3 people.
It's a three people. Doesn't matter if they're famous or not.
Well, it says what 3 famous dead people. If you have 3 people famous in general, then crack on.
See, because like if it's famous, then that's a lot tougher. Because like the first person would, anyway, if I had anybody, it would be my dad. Just so he could meet Toby. That was it. But famous people. Right, you know what? It sounds weird, but I'd love just for the opportunity to actually find out what was going on with in his head, Hitler.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Bring it back, just find out what's going on in his head, why he done what he did, and that. Because the guy was a genius. He was evil, but he was a genius at the same point.
He was in my 3 until I thought of other people.
Yeah.
I've had so many people. So the people that were in my 3, which now aren't, and I think my 3 is probably kind of worse now because it's just people that the famous people I have now are just people that I would have liked to have seen or just listen to still or something like that. But
So you say one of them's Freddie Mercury, then I'm guessing.
For me, well, he was in there. So I had people like Leonardo da Vinci in there, just so I could literally just pick his brains, like just speak to him because I think he thought he was a genius. I had Hitler for a similar sort of reason that you said. Like I had that, and then the Freddie Mercury was in there, and then I also had fuck me, now I've forgotten. So yeah, wait, they were those 3, but they're not in my list anymore. I've gone for other people for different reasons.
Alright, so I'll go for, well, Hitler would be my first one anyway for that. Alright, I'm really thinking back.
What's the next question?
It's about three famous people that you'd bring back from the dead.
And why?
And why. So like, I've got my first one would have been Hitler, just to find out what really was going on in his head. Because no one ever found out, did they really? So I'd love for that opportunity. See, I don't want to go for like people going like they're talking about like Ayrton Senna, Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, those kind of people. People who've done like big publicity people. I would rather go with for people like that really did things for the world, like Winston Churchill, just to slap the freaking politicians in the face and put them in the right course. That'll be my second. Because he done everything straight. He did everything right for the country. So
how long they're alive for?
Yeah. Oh no, you bring them back for the dead. They're alive.
Oh, okay, they're alive.
Back.
What? And they're that age, or they're what they would be?
They're
that straight off the bat.
Oh, okay. Go on, you carry on.
Okay. Sorry, you got. No, you got more.
He had one.
One more. Go do you one more. I've got my 3.
I've got what I can't. I'm thinking, mate. I'm thinking. So.
Alright, if you've got them, go.
Okay, Madeleine McCann. To find out what the
She's
fuck
not
happened.
If you want to see, hang on a minute. Wait, Maddie, come out from under the table a second. No, I'm joking. She's not here.
Honestly,
Dan, that was my. I'll tell you a joke about that later.
Madeleine McCann to find out what actually happened. Obviously, I don't know how old was she. Was she 4? Maybe that might
5.
5. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best option then, because obviously she probably wouldn't know anyway. But so anyway, one of them, Jesus, first of all.
Yeah.
But fucking walk on it, bitch. Prove it. Really fucking prove it. So yeah, I did have a fucking third. Oh, Kurt Cobain.
What?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Kurt Cobain. I want to find out who killed him. And
Himself.
There's one more, and
Anyway.
Jimmy, obviously without Madeleine McCann, Jimmy Hoffa.
I thought you were to say Jimmy Savile.
No, Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay.
Because I want to find, because obviously that in itself is a mystery. What happened to Jimmy Hoffa?
And same thing with Epstein as well. Like, well, come on. It's just like, like, oh man.
No, yeah.
This question is fantastic.
I would love to, because with Kurt Cobain, because obviously there's rumours about Courtney Love killing him.
Courtney, yeah.
So that would be interesting to find out. With obviously with Jimmy Hoffa, that no one knows. And in the name of Jesus Christ, it would just be like, are you fucking legit, or are you just a dickhead that, what's going on?
Yeah, you could ruin a lot of people's lives.
Oh yeah, that would be fucked. Hi guys, here's Jesus. I think I'd be dead quite soon afterwards.
It would be like, no, I was put up on the cross because I slept with this guy's wife and stole some stuff from his shop, and they put me up on the cross.
Literally, in this one story, he's broken all 10 commandments.
That's
it. Have you got a third yet, Gaz?
See, I was like sitting there going, thinking through, because I'm looking at seeing the while Gamer dropping in a few things, and I'm so against those ideas, but like, I like the idea where people bringing back people to find out what really happened to them, But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I think you go right back, and I mean really far, far back. Now there is right,
What, further than Jesus?
like further. No, it's right. It's like Joe Solomon. Joe, I'm talking about right back Solomon, King Solomon, right?
King
Because there was so much that went on in his time, right? That not a lot of people know, and it wasn't recorded. I would like to know what exactly happened and why he was such a successful ruler. You get what I mean? Because like like I'm a fan of all. I did really well in history, but he was the one king that there was not a lot of information on. Obviously, there's other kings like Hannibal from Carthage and all that. But Solomon was the one that actually stuck in my head. But if
Yeah.
it's not him, Gilgamesh.
Okay, yeah.
So like those kind of people. But I couldn't really put a figure on one. But I'll go for Solomon.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, my three changed quite a lot, and in fact, it's just changed last second from something I said before because thinking about it more now, I would 100% want to bring back Leonardo da Vinci just because I think he would be one of the most interesting people to have a chat with. Like, obviously I don't know how sane of mind he was when he passed, but I feel like he's just like another genius. I think it'd be interesting as anything. The thing is, it's hard to pick three, and it constantly just goes in my head. I actually know this, but some of them are more recent as well. I would want to bring back Alan Rickman because
Alan Rickman.
he's a fantastic actor, fantastic guy, and I feel like he's still, even though he was not that old really, I feel like he had more life left in him, more decent movies to make and things like that. Like he's a legend. And the last person that I want to bring back, and this is mainly because one thing, I love his music. Secondly,
I know you're gonna say.
he was taken. No, you probably don't. You might
Yeah, I
do.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I love his music. He was taken way too soon, and he would have been an absolute legend in the music
Can I guess?
industry. Go on.
Juice WRLD.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
I don't
Guarantee it. 100%. Because I love his music. Every song I listen to of him, I absolutely love. See, and another thing, this is why this question it constantly changed for me because also at the time, Heath Ledger was in my top three because I haven't seen like a better his portrayal of the Joker will never be beaten for me in my eyes, and I thought he was fantastic, and obviously the way he died, the overdose on sleeping tablets, I just thought he
There's
would
a
come
couple
back.
as well. If Wild Game was just give me an idea as well.
Like racing drivers, 100.
If it was racing drivers, I said I'd love to see Jimmy Clark was taken too young, definitely. Jules Bianchi, 100%. I think he was taken too young, and also Anton Hubert, another three racing drivers. But you saying about music artists just made me think instantly of Tupac and Biggie Smalls.
Yeah. See, I thought of them too, but I also had Michael Jackson in my top three before because he's one of my favourite music artists. But at the same time,
But Michael wouldn't release anything now, whereas you would still get relevant stuff from Big Smoke, from
but Biggie Small and Tupac as well. They kind of changed the game. Imagine the history that from the few things they did, the history that they have already. From that, imagine what the history would have been if they were still alive. Yeah. And it's why I picked Juice WRLD because I feel like he would have been incredible.
But just going with the whole Tupac and Biggie thing, the one thing I'll go against that idea is the fact that because the good that came out of them passing is the fact that the East versus West gang war really dropped because they were no longer around.
Obviously, you're not bringing them back. They're not you're bringing them back today, aren't you? You're not they're suddenly going to be alive today. And then in some sense, I wouldn't want to bring Tupac back now because I would have wanted to have brought him back when Obama got in presidency. When Obama got in presidency, I would like to bring him back because obviously one of his lines in one of his lyrics is, "We're never going to see a black president." So even if it was to bring up for a fucking day, and I'd be like, look, Tupac, look at this. Look, we've got a black president in the United States of America, and he's fucking amazing. Obviously now, seeing that they went back irreversibly, went back to fucking Trump, and then hopefully now we're back on the right step with Biden. Obviously, maybe not the best of ideas, but just to say to him, look, Tupac, you had a black president. I mean, that'd be quite sick.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what you're saying.
oh, there's so many. Like, it would be hard for me to pick three. I definitely think out of all of my three, Juice WRLD would be one just because he had a future ahead of him. He was so young. I think he would just so he could crack on with his life. And like I said, Alan Rickman, I love him as an actor. He was still taken too soon. He still would have done stuff, but it would
Also
have been
Rick
like
Mao as well.
yeah.
And also as well, like, I just found out as well. There's a you guys ever watch Scrubs?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know Ted.
Yeah, he died, didn't he?
Yeah, he died last year.
Yeah.
That's the person
Yeah.
I would want to bring back because he just met the love of his life, just had his first kid. That in itself, just bring him back for that. Like, he doesn't have to work anymore. Just let him see his kid grow up. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah.
See that there is something like I can definitely jump on board with.
Yeah.
It's like I do agree with that one.
Yeah, but I say, like,
I mean,
there's also real people I'd want to bring back as well. Like, it'd be nice to bring back like family members and stuff. Like, for example, my cousin lost both. My cousins have lost both their parents. They're both, as I said, they're literally my age now, and they've got no mum and dad. If I can bring back their parents, I mean that, or even just like their mum or something, just to, or their both. Yeah, if I can bring back both of them, fuck it. But I think that would.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird call to make because I think it'd freak a lot of people out at the same time as well.
it's weird. I mean, for myself, I'm lucky enough to not have had like a close family member pass away in that sense. So I couldn't. There's not a member of my family who's gone who I'd be like, apart from my auntie, but I wasn't. Hers was kind of self-inflicted more so than a like a tragic sort of thing. So even though that would be like the only person I could pray maybe, or maybe it would be one of my parents, like nan and granddads.
Yeah.
So I always talk like really highly of them. Maybe something like that. That would also be high up on the list. But yeah, in terms of like famous people, my mind
Obviously,
constantly
it'd be hard as
changes
well, 'cause
anyway.
if you're
but-
bringing back, for example, a grandparent, then like they're
Yeah.
still going to be old. That's the thing. Like,
they're still going to die super soon, right?
Yeah,
This-
exactly,
This,
so
is the thing, yeah.
is that if you had that option, if you had that power, for example, obviously you could. That would be quite considered quite selfish to bring back that. So like, my thought just comes to my head about bringing like my dog back. But then again, I'm bringing it back to be in pain again. So like, do I want to go through that again?
Yeah.
Like, so like, selfish thoughts, that kind of thing. But like, if I'm bringing back someone from history, like that's going to maybe make the world maybe a better place, for example. Or what I'd do, I would save one vote, one life. Actually, know what I'd like to do? I'd like to bring back Stephen Hawking. But like, I don't know.
There's been no point though, because he was in a vegetative
That's what I'm saying.
state
It's hard to
most
say
of his
because
life.
I would say I'd like to
he's
save.
a genius, don't get me wrong. Yeah.
I would like to save a life, for example, like save a life spare, for example. Like, like I'll pick two. I have a third one from a choice, and then the third one I would use it instantly on David Attenborough, just to bring him. Oh no, do you know what? Fuck it, Steve Irwin. There you go. That's down. Steve Irwin. Yeah, I said there's loads of people, man. It changes like. It
constantly changes. This is the thing. I thought about that question earlier on today, man, and literally my top three has changed throughout the whole day.
Mine has changed in the last like 5 minutes. Like 6, 7 people.
Yeah, it's mental. Like how much you think about it, because there's different reasons. Like I said, there's more selfish reasons for like family, or there's reasons of just like personal like interest. Like you bring back people from back in the day because you want to know something, or you want to you might want to bring back a serial killer because you want to actually know if they did it, sort of thing, or you want to go back and speak to like Einstein or something like that just to pick their brains because they were geniuses, or like Shakespeare, like things like that. Or you pick someone like you said whose life was taken too early and you bring them back for the sake that they can live their life and do whatever. Like it's such a hard choice picking three.
Yeah.
And then okay, I've still got more, but maybe we'll do one more
Do one
and
more,
then we can call it if you want. So okay, what one do I do? Okay, this one's probably the most interesting. Rest of the left. That's left. If you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what question would you ask?
Ooh. Go on, Coach. You go first this one.
The meaning of life.
I was one of my.
I knew someone was going to say that. I
Yeah.
knew someone was saying that. Cop out. You cop out, Gaz. Man. Get out. Go off.
That's why I like joking about it, because it's not like it's one of us. You know what, I'd say it's a selfish question. I'd like to know what really happened to my dog when I was little.
That's quite sad.
Because I went to school one day, came back, and my mum said the dog ran away. But the dog was blind. It was going blind. It was getting old, and never left the garden, even if the gate was wide open. But so I didn't believe it, and to this day she hasn't told me the truth.
Honestly, guys, mate, I think I could probably answer that for you right now.
The thing is, I was just thinking as well. I said, I would.
She's back at the podcast, don't worry.
If I could know the answer to, for example, like I said, we had a cat that I didn't have a cat, but it was like a stray cat that suddenly disappeared. But some parts we wouldn't want to know the answer. That makes sense. Like in my head, I've got like an idea of what happened. Like she got stolen, and she's now living in a house, rather than she got killed. So I said some of that is quite a hard thing to answer to find out.
Yeah.
But like the weirdest thing about it though was the fact that I seen a man, and he was an elderly man, like, and he was walking a dog that looked absolute the spit of my dog, and this was like a year after she disappeared, and I was so convinced that she was my dog because she came up to me. Joe looked right at me, and then like Joe kind of like there in front of me. Joe didn't even like most people. The dog was walked away. But like she was going blind, so she wasn't completely blind.
I thought she was just completely blind. It was like, I can smell something.
Dogs would know scent though anyway.
Right
the dog would know what Gad smelled like though. That's the thing as well. Like,
that's what I was thinking. Maybe the dog smelled it or something.
But like I said, the dog was right there in front of me. Didn't move away or anything. I gave it a stroke. It felt exactly like my dog. And I'm talking about, I was like 7, 8 at the time. So it was like I was really young. And I was so sure that this was my dog. But obviously, this old man was on his own, and I was like, part of me in my head was like, I want my dog back. But then I was like, but she obviously is happy there because she's followed him as he's walked on. So
yeah.
But I just want to know the truth. That was it.
So it's one answer you can know, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get to ask one question, but you get told the absolute truth.
I would like to know when.
Lexi, do you think my dick's actually small?
I know it's not. No, I would like to know the Euro million numbers for the next week. Or I would like to know the Euro millions numbers for the biggest jackpot. It's going to be. That'd be sick.
And I thought my question was selfish.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of it. Some of the questions I wouldn't like. It's not that song, "Goodbye, Mr. Ray." Like, I wouldn't want to know the deepest, darkest mystery of the world or that kind of shit, because it's kind of isn't that part of the fun? Is like finding out.
See, my question, I would ask what actually happens at Area 51.
Ooh.
100%. Like, I'd ask about what is and what happens, or like just what happens at Area 51, and just they can tell me. It has to be absolute truth. The thing with that though is it could be an absolute gutting answer, like, oh, it's just like a military testing base. And you'd be like, oh, I want to hear like the alien shit, like, oh, we're probing the shit out of aliens, mate. We're mating them, we're breeding them. Like, that's the sort of answer I'd like. But
get the truth out of the McCanns.
Oh, mate.
Once and for all.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even need to waste a question on that. The dirty pigs.
You don't need to. I got it for a great deal. Jerry gave me a salted for that cheap.
Yeah. So it was only €100. What?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I like that segment. So guys, have you got...
I'll try and think of. Yeah, I mean, if anyone thinks of any questions, then I'll tell you what. I'll do the question time segment, alright? I'll be the question master, the task master, if you will. So if you've got any questions that you want to hear on question time, just DM me on Discord, and I'll compile questions that I get in and put them onto the question time, and I'll also constantly try to keep finding extra questions and other ones. I hope it's probably going to be downhill from here. I'm probably going to think of better questions.
They're pretty good though.
The rest. So there's still a few left, but some of them are like quite quick and easy to kind of probably give an answer. So, but I'll try and think of some more good ones and find more good ones out there. But yeah, if you've got any, DM me on Discord and I'll bring them into question time.
Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. I think the name we're going to call it is like, I think the Penguin Army sounds pretty good, to be honest. I stuck with me, that Penguin Army. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching another podcast, Heads Up Podcast. Probably do it again in the next 2 weeks. Keep it as we missed last week. We'll do it again next 2 weeks. But yeah, thank you.
Well,
everyone.
I think because we missed last week, we should do it next week. I don't know, keep it more on track.
Do you want to fucking think of more questions for the next week? We've got 2 weeks, man.
It gives me a week.
No,
we'll
keep
today.
it 2 weeks. We'll keep it 2 weeks. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for listening. This has been a Heads Up Podcast with myself, Nevo, and with Gaz. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to tune in as well on all the podcast or all the league stuff we're doing. So we've got Fridays. Fridays looks to be nothing, so good luck England on Friday. But yeah, do tune in to everything IER related and TTFL related. But until then, thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.